Representative Munson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative Nash, for helping hammer home the point that I brought up in the original debate, and that got me so frustrated because this bill really goes further to legalize voice texting, which all of the studies out there show voice-to-text technology is so much more distracting than holding a phone to make a phone call. Yet this bill goes further to allow people to send text messages by voice, to receive social media updates, and to send and receive emails, to actually compose emails while driving down the road. And the level of cognitive distraction that this causes is much more severe than just holding a phone while talking. But I really appreciated the debate here on how we can enforce this law, because I have constituents in my district, as many of you do, who have lost family members due to distracted driving, where someone hits them, causes injury or death, and they want to seek justice. They want those people to be prosecuted more severely for distracted driving. Yet it's my understanding this bill only has a $200 fine, and if you cause an accident for just because you were texting, and I just heard Representative Hornstein say, you're not required to hand over your phone. So in other words, the police aren't even able to enforce this law, and it sounds like there's some confusion, because I was talking to police officers too, because I had grave concerns over handing over my phone over the accusation of distracted driving, when this is more than just my records of who I call and who I text. This has all my photos on it, it has my medical records, it has a lot of data on here that I don't want to be turned over to anybody for privacy concerns, for Fourth Amendment protections. So I'm glad to know that you are not required to hand over your phone, but it really makes this bill unenforceable. You know, I heard Representative Hornstein say that the burden of proof is on the state. Well, that means, that's fine. That means, according to Nash's argument, because the cell phone carriers can't prove whether something was sent text by using your thumbs or sent by voice, or whether the phone call was initiated with Bluetooth or not, the state will never be able to prosecute this, because they will never be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you didn't send it hands-free. So now we're creating a law that's never going to be prosecuted. It's never going to give justice to people that are here to witness us passing something that they want. They want us to crack down on distracted driving. And during Representative Miller's questioning, it does say in the bill that it has to be permanently affixed. And putting it in a suction cup mount is not permanent. Representative Miller has his phone here today. It is not permanently affixed to his car. So that having a phone in front of you doesn't appear to be legal under this law. Even though Representative Hornstein may be subpoenaed to every court case in Minnesota from now until eternity to testify that this wasn't his intent, it does say permanently, and you're allowing something to be temporarily affixed. And when I do voice to text, and I tell my phone to send a text message to Representative Hornstein that I'm going to be voting no on his bill, my phone actually prints the text right in front of me. And I've seen so many people that use this technology in the car look at their phone while they're doing it, okay? Hands-free is a misnomer. We want eyes on the road. We want eyes on the road. That's what we should be focused on, not hands, okay? Whether you're using your hand for your phone, or you're eating a taco, or you're holding on to a 64-ounce soda between your legs, or you have Fluffy on your lap, we have distracted drivers out there. And our existing law under 169.14 bans distracted driving. But one of the concerns I have on this bill, and Representative Hornstein, if you'll yield to a question.
He will yield.
Okay.
Representative Munson.
You had said that during the debate with Representative Nash, he was concerned about what happens when the police pull him over, and maybe, as Representative Miller said, he has a smartwatch on his wrist, and you said that law enforcement has to pull you over first. So is having a cell phone in my hand up against my head, and a police officer sees that, is that a primary offense where a police officer can pull me over? Or do they have to wait for me to be distracted driving, swerving on the road or doing something erratic before they pull me over?
Representative Hornstein.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and Representative Munson. Yes, so keep in mind, we are building on the existing texting while driving law here, which is a primary offense. So if you are using your cell phone and it's not in a hands-free mode, then yes, that would be cause for law enforcement action on this. But again, if you are driving erratically or in a distracted way, as Representative Nash was giving in his case study, under 169.14, you would be subject to action.
Representative Munson.
Okay, so that I guess changes the argument that Representative Nash had brought up for concerns, and especially when it comes to smartwatches, because smartwatches are now illegal to have on your wrist while driving. And there's a lot of people in this room that have smartwatches and wear them. If I remembered to charge mine, I'd probably have one on today too. So we're lawmakers. We're writing laws that everyone in this state must follow. But I would be willing to guess that lawmakers, if this bill is passed, are going to get in the car and not take off their smartwatch every single time they get in the car. And so we need to be clear on the laws that we write so that they can be properly enforced by the court of law. First of all, we have a law that we can't enforce because we don't even have the data to show that they were distracted driving, because we've created so many exemptions to distracted driving to allow for composing emails and all this other stuff. We can't even enforce this law to start with. So now we have a useless law. But then we have the ability now, we're empowering the police department to pull over anyone on the road. Anyone on the road can be pulled over because they have a smartwatch. Whether it's on or off, it's on their person. It is not permanently affixed to the vehicle. Representative Miller has a smartwatch. His phone doesn't even have to be in the same state. His smartwatch is a cell phone. And it is not and will never be permanently affixed to the vehicle. So you're writing a law that we're going to vote on today that makes it illegal to own a smartwatch and have it on you. I offered an amendment that would clarify this. I also offered an amendment that would have banned texting while driving, period, whether by voice or not, because that's what's distracting, and that's a growing trend that's killing people in the states that have passed laws similar to this. And I mentioned on the House floor earlier that California, because they've had so many deaths due to voice to texting, people sending emails and doing social media updates and having Twitter read to them while they're driving, that they actually tried to ban this dangerous behavior, more distracting than what you're doing today. And the automotive industry came out in force to lobby against it, to kill that bill, because they love selling those $3,000 upgrades to vehicles so they can integrate all the social media stuff. You're making it illegal to have a small device in front of you, yet there's an iPad built into the dashboard of vehicles that's more distracting. And this bill does nothing to do that. So I don't know how to tell my constituents that want something to ban distracted driving that we actually passed a law that, first of all, can't be enforced. Even if it could be enforced and we could somehow find evidence to show it was not sent by voice, it's a $200 fine for running over grandma. And we're empowering police to pull anyone over and give them a ticket. Even if it can't be proven in court, someone has to take a day off of work and show up to court, and hopefully everyone in the jury understands that you can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt they didn't send it by voice just to get off. We are burdening our courts with a law we cannot enforce. I would urge members to vote no on this so that we can actually figure out a distracted driving bill that makes sense. Thank you, Madam Speaker.